it has been a vow that I have lived by to make the most out of the opportunities in my life as well as the challenges.
I'm so excited to chat with you. I am a huge fan of Sort of as well. And just to see you pop up on the screen for season 3, it was so exciting. So we're going to dive into a few other things, but how did that whole collaboration come together?
It's so interesting. I really do have a mean game of manifestation. And it's one where I seem to be just like pulling in the things that not only that I'm really passionate about and that I really love, but that kind of reflect my world and the world that I want to see and be in. And so when I saw sort of season 1, I was I was enamored with the show because it catches you off guard. With Bilal playing the main character, it's not what you would normally present as someone who's trying to pass as this super uh feminine supermodel, like, kind of visual that some of us kind of get sometimes. And it's like that there's more ways than one to not only just be trans, but just the fact that it's just a human experience and not all of us are like kind of traveling through this the same ways. And so to see the show be unassuming and sort of show the humanity in somebody that's non-binary. I was just a huge fan from the start.
That's the beautiful thing about Sort of is the fact that it brings forth so many important conversations, but in such a normalized way, which it makes you go, wow, I actually never, like, I feel like I'm watching a documentary. That's how real, right? That it actually feels. And obviously, I've watched some of season 3 that you're in it too, and it's amazing how your role, it's just so fitting. So it's amazing to hear that you manifest these things because I'm like, yeah, of course you manifested this because it totally makes sense.
What's beautiful though about this story is how typically when you think about the trans person in the story or in your community or whatever, it's typically a story of trauma, of somebody who just does not have their life together. But this story showed Bilal as not only someone who was still figuring it out, because aren't we all? Are many of us still figuring it out? But to also show that sometimes us trans people are the most sane people in the room, and sometimes we are the ones who have it most together when others who are trying to who are trying to present to you a picture of perfection don't quite have things together.
Whew, preach. I love that. When I say that I loved seeing you on the screen, I was extra excited because you are sort of making a transition in your personal life as well, in your professional life. You're not
Yes.
completely leaving, but you have sort of taken a step back from Hollywood and you're going back to your state of Georgia to run for office. Why was now the time? I mean, that is a bold thing to do. And when you announced that, I said, okay, of course this makes sense. But again, that takes a lot of courage to also do that. Why is now the right time and why did you want to go into politics?
It's funny that you would say, why is now the right time? I have a podcast that's launching at the beginning of next year, and it's called Now No Opportunity Wasted with Angelica Ross. And that that's really why. It's because, my Buddhist practice handed me that sort of acronym, and it has been a vow that I have lived by to make the most out of the opportunities in my life as well as the challenges.
What are you hoping, you know, once you're granted a leadership role to be able to lead people? Like, what would you say is like your top priority to bring to Georgia?
There's so many issues obviously that we face, and so for me my top priorities are going to be intersectional. So when I speak about intersectional, I'm saying, okay, what's the intersection that's going to address the most people and kind of get to the heart of many people's concerns. And I believe a lot of that actually has to do around autonomy, being able to decide what to do with your body, to be able to decide the type of education that you want your children to have, decisions over your health care. There's so many things that I think that, sometimes the conservatives, they want to talk about less government, but here we are making more and more laws against what people can and cannot do with their lives. So I think that there's, I think that I can help, have a conversation as a trans person who identifies as a non-binary woman. I think that, and as somebody who is practiced at being a Buddhist, which is all about the middle way, I truly think that my focus is going to be about finding that middle way for us to all move forward.
I know you've commented about what Emma Roberts had said and how the fact that she apologized to you, but would you say that it's your teachings that also keep you so grounded? Because to be completely honest with you, when I read that, I was like enraged. But then I was so happy that you exposed it, because so many of us, even people of color, sometimes we tend to just kind of push it under the rug, right, ourselves, because we're like, we don't want to ruffle any feathers. But when that whole situation happened as well, like, what kept you so calm and grounded and not to lash back?
To be 1,000, it is my Buddhist practice that keeps me grounded. It keeps me to at least, it puts a little bit of at least a pause in between sort of my actions and my words and me being able to process things. Obviously, with the situation with being on these shows, I had a lot of time to process before I actually even said anything. So I wasn't just acting out of emotion or just out of impulse, but I wanted to address the situation. Whereas, like, I just don't appreciate the falseness of Hollywood. And when you encounter someone who is as real as I am, who banks on my integrity the way that I do, you can't play in my face. I won't allow you to. And so what I do is I try to provide opportunities for accountability before I even get to that stage. But when there are systems that protect folks from accountability, especially when folks want, like, kind of gaslight and call it cancel culture when no one actually ever gets canceled that you want to cancel. What we're really looking for is accountability. And so for me, the quickest way for me to accountability is just telling my truth, because all that they can do is either refute what I'm saying, which those who know me know that I don't have to lie to kick it.
Like the video? Then hit the button, or better yet, drop us a comment. Then check out our latest videos here. And don't forget to subscribe by hitting the button here for more celebrity interviews and entertainment news.